Previously on Champion's Call. After bringing Olivier, the Knoll bandit, back to Alder Outpost, Moor learned that Silas, the leader of the Dredgers, has been asking initiates to the gang to steal items from locals in the slough. Fearing for his life, Olivier begged for release, stating that Silas would find him and make him pay for not coming back with any loot. In a rare turn, Moor released Olivier from his binds and gave him a piece of stolen goods. Moor made it clear that they expected the Knoll to serve as an informant for them in the future. Olivier obliged and then took off. Protector Clayton, not much worried about Olivier or the beast that emerged from the water, demanded you find the individuals who had their goods stolen and return it to them. Moor then ventured back into the slough, where they met Odd Tardley, a local merchant, who would offer to take them to the family that he believes had items stolen from, but only on one condition: come back to his shop at some point. Moor begrudgingly agreed and reminded him that these goods are not for sale after being pressed twice. After a while, Moor was introduced to the Kinley family, a lizard folk family on the edge of the slough, returning their goods and leading to an investigation of a recent break-in. But before things could settle, a piercing scream echoed through the slough, followed by a deep, bestial bellow. Moor rushed to the source of the noise, arriving just after an attack had taken place. They found a frightened Mosselbrack, a sheep-like creature, and an injured furbolg named Louis. After stabilizing him, they learned that a massive orange and black beaked beast with armor plating had attacked Louis, and he had fought the beast off, wounding the creature. The beast dropped him and fled into the mangrove forest. As a crowd gathered around the incident, Moor was finally introduced to the Dredger gang, and more importantly, Silas Dumont, who sought to stir the people into hunting the beast. However, Protector Clayton intervened, trying to keep the peace and subtly warning that he knew what this creature was, but didn't want to cause panic. He also made it clear he disapproved of Silas's tactics. Determined to track the creature, the locals decided to prepare for the hunt. Moor, thinking quickly, sent a bird ahead to scout and report back before setting off into the woods. So, Moor, you have released your bird out into the woods. It flew off across the mangroves, and you can see the group of locals starting to gear up and get ready to move into the woods in this large kind of hole in the mangrove tree. What you do realize, though, is there's this gigantic hole that kind of goes into the mangrove swamp. What do y'all want to do at this moment? Now, if you weren't here last episode, Silas Dumont, who is the leader of the Dredger gang, has kind of rabble-roused and got a bunch of folks ready to come kill this huge beast that has attacked a farmer and taken down an already dead bandit. Your boss, Protector Clayton, has decided that you should probably keep an eye on them. It's up to you, though, if you want to do that. And that he doesn't really like Silas. So what I'll do first is, if you want to make the first decision on what's going to be happening tonight, please, if you could, put in the chat, monster. A Cookie Monster, what would you like to do? You pull Protector Clayton to the side, and it seems that majority of the folks have kind of set up and moved into their own little kind of groups, getting ready to go in. If folks aren't going into the mangroves, they decided to kind of disperse and go back into their day-to-day. It's getting close to like late evening, so we can see what happens here. You pull Protector Clayton close, and do you know exactly what this is? Steve, I'm gonna roll a persuasion for you, buddy. to see if you can get some information out of him. Because the only reason I'll roll a persuasion is because you currently are in an open area and you're going to try and get him to tell some stuff. All right. Let's roll that D20. 13. All right. With a 13. And persuasion's a +5. Okay. You did good. You did really good. Okay. You can see Protector Clayton look around and be like, come here. Come here. Real close. All right. What you got to know is there's just a lot going on right now. All right. But he looks around to see if anyone notices that he's kind of talking to you in secret. There's an old tale that my mother used to tell me. Less of a tale, but more of a nursery rhyme. And it just, it kind of tells you about like messing with the swamp, and you don't really want to mess with the swamp. He goes, dude, what exactly is it? He kind of thinks for a second and goes, that's it. Way down deep, where the willows weep, where the water's thick and the shadows crawl, a beast stirs low in the fetid deep. Best mind your step, best heed his call, best heed his call. That beast is his, it walks unchained, its bridled snap, its mercy gone. It guards his home, both wild and stained, do it harm, and you won't see dawn. And you kind of can tell he's a little nervous about even kind of telling this nursery rhyme to you. He goes, I don't know, it's just, things are lining up, which make me think that this might be some omen. Some ill omen here. So with that, is there anything else you want to ask Protector Clayton? And anyone in chat can put this down. Doesn't have to be Cookie Mon Steve. If you want to ask Protector Clayton something, please let me know. Turtle, good to see you. Well, how you feeling, Protector Clayton? Clayton kind of wrings the back of his neck and, I don't know. This just seems weird, I mean, you see, you hear of beasts, you hear of monsters, you hear of these things, and, that seems pretty frequent here in the Gloomside, but this, no one can place it. They've seen beasts like this before. They've seen monsters. They've been able to see alligators. They've been able to see boa constrictors. They've been able to see all these animals, but this animal they can't place, and that just doesn't sit right with me. Now, Moor, you look up and, well, do you want me to go after it? Clayton sighs and goes, I don't know if I want you to go after it. But I need to know. I need to know if this is some sort of beast is what I think it is. This is a beast with no name. Or at least a name that I don't know of. So, with that information, do you want to ask Protector Clayton anything else, or do we want to move on a little bit? Okay, so Turtleman says we move on. So I'll recap you all right now. Do we want heavier armor? We are wearing pretty heavy armor right now. Oh no, we're not. Sorry, we're wearing chainmail. Are you saying, do you want like plate mail essentially? You might not have. You only have 10 gold right now. By the way, Cookie Mon Steve. But I'll just remind you folks what's going on exactly right now. Folks are getting ready to kind of form these like little posses to go find this beast in the mangroves. Then alongside that, the dredgers, this local gang, is kind of rabble rousing and getting people to kind of go in and find it as well. Protector Clayton wants you to kind of keep an eye on things, and now seemingly wants you to kind of scout the beasts. Now, do you want to go into the mangroves alone? Keep in mind, you only have 1 out of 3 spell slots. We're good on health. We have a thing of inspiration. We have a potion of healing. But keep in mind, we're getting late in the night. You do have dark vision, but it's entirely up to you all. Didn't know if we had heavier gear at the post. So to answer that, you kind of have the Alder Outpost is an outpost for the Verdant Knights that is completely and totally falling apart. It is neglected, not cared for. Frankly, people don't really come in that much for it. You know what I mean? Or look into it. Long rest seems best. I say we get our slots back. Okay. So can we get a confirmation in chat? Just a yes for long resting. Shield says yes. That's 1. Y2K from B-Town, I'm guessing that's a yes. Still Crooked, yes. Raina, yes. Turtle Man, yes. Okay. You head back to the Alder Outpost. As you're walking through the through the slough, you see there is a buzz in the air. Most people are trying to shutter things up, close things down. You can see folks actually nailing wood over their windows. Folks are grabbing their kids and bringing them inside. There is a tenseness in the air. Is there anything you want to do in the slough before we go back? It seems like we all said it. Well, you know what? Let's just go to long rest first, and then we can go. We'll resolve that and do anything after that. Heading back to the Alder Outpost, you can see that Protector Clayton has kind of left the place a mess. Once that loud noise from that monster echoed through the little farmland, kind of left things in a hurry. You do your best to tidy things up, get things a little bit clean, because you know Protector Clayton is a little bit of a stickler for cleanliness. You lay your head down and you rest for the night. Although your rest is a little unsettled. Your rest is plagued with dreams of running through the mangroves looking for a beast. Your dreams are plagued with the sight of this massive beast that you couldn't really get a look at, jumping and grabbing a dead bandit that you recently slayed and running into the woods. You can hear like a low rumble as you're sleeping, just it almost sounds like a growl. But out of the growl, you can hear a go and find it. This kind of dark, foreboding voice, kind of like egging you on to go and find something. Now, you wake up in the morning, all your spell slots are back. You're all good. You can see Protector Clayton is sleeping in his little cot that's kind of swinging back and forth as he's kind of snoring into the day. First of all, I will put in the chat keyword entry PREP, prep. Type prep in chat if you want to be included in the next decision. You've woken up, let's just say you've had your breakfast. What are you doing next? Turtle Man, congratulations, buddy. What are we doing in this time? So we check out equipment, make sure it's all secure, and see if anyone needs anything. Okay. I like that. So, Turtle Man, you kind of go to the measly barracks that are included in the Alder Outpost. You can see there is leather armor, there's hide armor, there's even cloth armor. There's no real plate armor, save for Protector Clayton's, which is kind of like resting underneath his little meager bed area, kind of all polished and set up. For you, I would say let's roll an investigation. 9. An investigation, which that is a negative, is a -1. It's funny that a paladin who's kind of like a cop has terrible investigation, or maybe that's fitting. You only got an 8. So unfortunately, you have your gear. And the gear you have, obviously, is your double-bladed scimitar, your javelin, your chainmail, your adventuring gear, which is, there's a bunch of things in adventuring gear if you want to look at your inventory. Adventuring gear is bedroll, mess kit, rations, rope, 50 feet, tinderbox, torch, and water skin. You have a hunting trophy, which we haven't really decided what that hunting trophy was, and you got your bog juice, which is a healing potion, essentially. Seeing that, there's not much here for you to grab that you already don't have in your backpack. You set up and you head out in the night. In the early morning, sorry. Now, as you're making your way back through the slough, there's not a lot of work going on right now. The work that is being had, I always like making the trophy a rabbit's foot. That's a good one too, Draconic. Yeah. Can we wrap cloth around our hands? I'll say, in your inventory, you do have like a couple scraps of cloth, Turtle Man, that you can wrap around your hands. Is this just for like, is there a reason behind it, Turtle? Which is totally okay. As you're walking through the slough, though, you can see a lot of folks have, thank you, Rainana. Other folks have kind of slowed down their work ever since the attack, and now are a little bit more anxious. You approach Louis' farm, which is where the beast entered into the woods there. Protect from splinter sort of thing. Okay, for sure. You definitely wrap those around your hands. Good point. You can see that there are some folks camping out. Essentially, there are people who went in to kind of look around for the beast and came out to camp. So there's kind of a little of an encampment there. You don't see the dredgers or Silas Dumont anywhere near here. All you see is a few villagers. Now, Turtle, is there anything you want to ask the villagers, or do you want to kind of go right into the brush, as it were? So let's just say yes or no. Are we going in? So you look around, you can see a lot of folks are kind of getting ready to go move into their into the brush again, and they start to kind of break off into different patterns. But the mangrove forest that surrounds the slough is dense, a tangle of roots stretching out from the damp ground. Mosquitoes buzz in swarms early in the morning, and moss hangs in veils from tree to tree. A clear indication of some large creature bounding through the brush is present at the edge of the slough near Louis' farm. Mangrove trees are uprooted, bent over, snapped, and as you can see, the group of villagers, Silas and his group, are all moving off or haven't even been found later in the day. Are there tracks we can follow? Confirm where Silas went and see how long ago he left. Okay, so Rainana, first of all, I'll roll a nature check for you. So our nature, by the way, or do you want, so your call, nature or survival, Rainana? And then powers will get yours in a second. Moor, you catch up with a few individuals, some villagers that are survival. We have a plus versus minus. Okay, all right. So we're going to roll survival. Let's see what we got here. Keep in mind, we have inspiration as well from the last game. But you won't really need it because with a 16, I'll say that you can see there are tracks, muddied tracks. And since it's been a little bit of time, you know, it was evening when the monster fled, and now it's the morning. The tracks are either washed up in the mud or dried up a bit, but you can kind of get a semblance that some individuals are going left, some individuals are going right, but you see a path kind of lay ahead of you that probably feels like the best bet. As you're walking through the forest, you come across a few villagers, and you ask to them, "Can you tell me when Silas and the rest of the dredgers went in and how long they've been gone for?" You can see a rather young looking dwarf water genasi look up at you and goes, well, you know, I rightfully think Silas just left after everyone went in. He said he got business to take care of and his boys will take care of it as well. But they didn't come back out. They've been busy. They've been running around. I see them coming in and grabbing a bunch of gear and running back in. So, I don't know. And he kind of pods off into the distance. You can see that, or what you can piece together, is that Silas didn't even go in. He let the dredgers go in, and he said he had business to take care of, and they're dealing with something now. So, Forrest, in the chat, if you want to be included for the next decision. Cookiemon Steve, congratulations. You're plodding through, and the mangrove forest, even though it looked dense through the first little bit, it kind of starts to open up, and you can see plots of like just kind of lowland water and mud and muck, and then a few trees here and there kind of going through. We're going in, but we're keeping an eye out for the dredgers. Okay. So you walk through, and after a little bit of time, you do hear two figures. You do see two figures kind of off in the distance. They seem to be talking with each other. What are you doing? Let's go talk to them. As you approach, Cookiemon Steve, you can see they're a water genasi again, and there's a grung. You can tell by the height difference. They're pretty much two different portions, but you can see clearly as you get closer to them, the red handkerchief and the red bandana that denotes a dredger. As you approach closer, you can see them two swing around with crossbows. State your business. What do you want? What is there? Well, since this is my job, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Huh. Okay. Let's roll. Okay. For your... They're both +5, Steve, but this is up to you. Survival. Persuasion or intimidation? Looking for intimidation. Wow. Okay. Perfect. You answered my question. Moor crosses their large arms. Do you want to use inspiration for this, Steve? Up to you. You only got an 11. Let's use it. All right. We're using our inspiration, folks. Hold on, let me mark that down. Where is this thing here? There you are. Okay. Rolling it. Oh no. It's a 12. It's a 12. Okay. So, with the 12, cross your arms, you look big. Well, I thought I'd ask you the same thing. You can see one of the dredgers look up and... Ain't you the one that Silas said to keep an eye on? You can hear the grung kind of put his arm up. Shut up! You know you're not supposed to be talking about that. Oh, right. We're not supposed to be talking about that. The grung kind of pushes the water genasi back and goes, hey, well, what are you doing in these woods here other than looking for this beast? He kind of stops for a second, looks around. Why do you need to get after this beast? Asks you a question why you would need to get after this beast. Kind of eyes you up and down. It doesn't matter anyways. You're not going to be able to take care of it yourself. And don't worry, we'll come and clean you up when you get taken care of by that beast. Come on. You can see the other guy clean you up. And they both start to walk off further. Cookie Mossy, were you doing anything else for this? Hit him with a rock. God damn. Oh, okay. Steve, you scared me. Just like imagine, just throw a rock right at the back of their heads. Welcome back, Turtle Man. Nope, carrying on into the mangrove. Okay. You carry on past them. I'm going to roll a dice. Okay? I got to roll. So our passive perception is 10. Let's roll as d20. So, Moor, as you begin to pull away from the other two dredgers that you just ran into, you hear through your passive perception, you can hear something. You hear one of the dredgers talking. Look, I don't care about that verdant night, but we got to do what Silas said. We got to make sure that they don't get anywhere near the beast. You know Silas wants him. Wants that beast for his own. And then it kind of mumbles off into the distance. So make a note of this. Silas has mentioned that he wants the beast for his own. As you continue moving on through the woods, see what happens here. A 2. Okay. After a certain time of moving through the swamp, the heat begins to kind of become a little bit more humid, a little bit more oppressive as the day as the sun gets higher. Off in the distance, you hear a squeal. And focusing your eyes, you can see past the nearest tangle of trees. You can see a boar. But the boar is panicking as it begins to sink slowly into the mud. What are we doing with this boar? Type in B-O-A-R, boar. Figure out what you want to do here. Is it sinking into the mud or being pulled in? From what you can tell, it looks like it's in like a quicksand sort of thing, Steve. Good question though. All right. Well, Rainana, it's you. Are there any good hiding spots within 60 feet? Shall we do an investigation? Oh, wait, do you want to do investigation? Do you want to do nature? Do you want to do survival? I'll give it to you, Rainana. No worries, Cookie Monster Steve. Survival. All right. There it is. There it is. Good hiding spots. Perfect. Amazing. Amazing, Raina. Okay. You can kind of see there's a tangle of mangrove roots and trees that has been knocked over. There is a good hiding spot there. You can kind of get into a nook and wait. So you are effectively hidden. I want to hide and cast Detect Good and Evil. I think this boar would be good bait. Oh, GF Powers, you came in late to stream. There was a ominous sort of fairy tale told to us about this creature. So the other creature is kind of alluded to being not just a beast. Oh, divine sense, duh. Sorry. All right. Apparently I can't do that. Okay. Raina, you get close in and you kind of cover yourself with branches and you detect good and evil. So some time goes by. Pig starts to, the boar is still panicking, then stops to kind of take a breath. You can tell it's kind of exhausted, its kind of energy, and then it goes back to freaking out. But as you click your detect good and evil, nothing is detected in the area. Is there anything else you'd like to do? So you think staying hiding is good? Save boar and run it ahead and to use as bait? Okay. Okay, I think we'll go with saving the boar and run it ahead as bait. So how are you all saving the boar? I want you to type in save if you want to make the decision. So a generally innocent animal probably won't trigger the evil monitor. I mean, it was a good poll because, you know, the fairy tale that we were told, or the old wives' tale, kind of alluded to something more than just being a beast as well. You can see the pig, or the boar, I always keep calling it a pig, is once again freaking out and moving back and forth and trying to dig out further with its horns and its tusks. Sorry. So let's choose a winner. Turtle Man, congratulations again, buddy. What are we doing? How are we saving the boar? I want to run up and grab the boar, then run again. So, Turtle Man, I will remind you, this is kind of quicksand. How are you going to plan to move around that? Be light on our feet. Okay. I guess you want to roll an acrobatics on that then. All right, let's roll that D20 then. With the acrobatics. Ooh. So you try to get your footing, and it would. So the only disadvantage we have with our armor is it's only stealth. So we don't have any disadvantage on that. I'm not going to rule that in a different way. But unfortunately, you have run in and you try to kind of get around there. If the patch of quicksand is small enough, we could use our quarterstaff and then a lever under the boar. Okay, so now you go to move, and you can see one of your feet is your large kind of big foot is stuck in the water, in the mud, and you can kind of see the other one that's stuck in the mud as well. What are we doing? Type in mud if you want to be included in how we kind of save the situation here. We're seeing some great options in chat, though. First, I'll pull my legs out with my arms, and then you're just stuck in there fully on all fours. Then I'll pull my arms out of my face. Out with my face. Perfect. All right. Rolling. Powers. What are we doing, buddy? Good call, Powers. Do you want to kind of muscle your way to finding it? Do you want to just kind of survival check to see if there are any mangrove roots around here? How are you looking for these roots? Now you're not sinking super fast. You're just now kind of stuck there, and you're kind of standing like, damn, what are we doing here? I try survival, that failing thorn whip. Cool. All right. Oh no. We don't even have any inspiration. All right, thorn whip. What are we thorn whipping onto? It's a cantrip, so you can cast it at it's kind of your race species specialization. It can lash out towards a creature, but I'll say I think you can use it on anything inanimate. And it can pull the creature up to 10 feet closer to you. So do you want to pull a thorn whip towards a nearby mangrove that you're hoping you can get that's 10 feet? That's actually, how far away is it? Hook up to a strong root. Okay. You're able to see a strong root not too far away from you, within almost combat range. You're not going to have a super high DC for this one. 6 plus 2, you get with an 8. You find a purchase. You almost throw your hand out in desperation, and your vine whip almost sensibly just kind of goes around your hand and whoosh, right onto a local mangrove that was actually from the tree that you kind of came out from hiding behind. What are we doing next? Folks, you can help Powers out here. You are now effectively anchored, let's just say. No, the boar is not trying to gore at you yet. It's kind of freaking out in a way. But good question, Steve. If we're safe, are we trying to rescue the boar? Yeah, that's a good question. What do y'all think? You do have rope. You do have rope in your adventuring kit. I should remind you all about that. Can we use Ensnaring Strike to grab the boar? Oh. Do we have... We don't... Let me see if I have Ensnaring Strike. We do have Ensnaring Strike, and it's always prepared. It is a bonus action. It's a concentration. We can fashion a lasso and rope the boar in. Okay, so what do we want to do? Ensnaring Strike or a lasso? I'm going to put this in the chat. Would the boar take damage from Ensnaring Strike? It would. My only concern is using a spell already, but it's effective for sure. True. Okay, looking like we're gonna try the lasso first. I'm gonna say you don't need to really decide on who rolls the lasso. You know how to make a lasso. You've been here for you've done it for a little bit, so we're gonna do the lasso first. All right, and this is gonna be just a straight D20 with a dex modifier, which our dex modifier is +1. So everyone, let's hope this I don't even want to look. Okay, 13. Now I gotta you think I would have the boar stats up? One second. What's the boar's AC? Okay, the boar's AC is 11. So you swing, and the lasso gets hooked on the side of the boar's tusk. Are you pulling them back? What are you doing now? The boar seems to have been tired out from the amount of panicking it's done. The boar does not have a lot of HP, by the way. The boar only has like 11 hit points. How are we pulling the boar in? Are we just kind of using our strength, yelling, yeehaw? Swing, right on there, right on the boar's tusk. And the boar doesn't seem to be giving too much of a fight now. Do you just want to pull that bad boy in? Yeah, I mean, you're pretty strong. Yeah, you're 16. in there. So I think we're not even going to roll. You're able to use your one arm to pull yourself onto the shore, and then with your other arm you start grabbing and pulling the boar in. Once you're on the shore, and the shore, the boar on the shore has been brought up. The boar is tired, but clearly fearing that you're going to make it its next your next meal. It runs off. What are we doing here? With the boar running away, do we want to try and stop it? The boar is running further into the swamp. The rope is still attached. Senhaz, good catch. He's supposed to be our decoy anyways. Okay. You begin to follow the boar as the rope is trailing along into the distance. The heat, though, begins to kind of cool off. The humidity cools off and offers a little bit of a damp reprieve. The boar, you're following it from some distance, stops in an area. And in this area, within the tangle of roots and muck, you see what seems to be a structure. Wood, rope. It's tough to tell. The mud has worked to reclaim the structure. Portions of wall and walkways, even the remnants of what seemed to be a hearth, poke out of the mud. What are you all doing here at these ruins? You can see the boar is kind of grazing and stopped, realizing that you're not really a threat. Type RUIN into the chat if you want to figure out what we're doing. Ruin. Cookiemon Steve, winner chicken dinner, buddy. What's going on? These ruins are kind of blanketed by these massive, kind of veiled like willow trees. There's like a soft breeze, albeit warm. Now, this ruin is little more than just a bunch of broken down walls and walkways and a little hearth around there. Need a solid investigation check. Let's hope the gods are on your side. Oh, and they are, buddy. They are. Even though with your investigation being a -1, with a 13, we'll see what you find. All right, so Steve, you rolled a 13. You needed a 12. Find here, okay? So it's clear the beast made its way through here, though. Large footprints, even some sort of digging has been present around the area. You can see kind of these large gouges into the land. Apologies. And you can see two things. In one of the large gouges, a broken chest lays open on the ground. And also, as you're walking through the area, you see a hearth. A hearth that's kind of sunken halfway into the mud. And on the external part of the hearth, you can see something etched into the stone. Something almost ceremonial of some way. The image is of a large beast emerging from the water. And at the edge of the water seems to be a lonely folk in a boat with two large catfish standing with its arms raised up. What are you doing in here, Steve? Is there an entryway big enough for the monster? So there's no real room here, Steve. It's more of just a ruin, a few broken wooden walls sunken into the ground, platforms sunken into the ground. It's still very much a part of the mangrove forest, but it is open air, let's just say. Since having cast another concentration spell, is Detect Good and Evil still up? Let's see. Detect Good and Evil I would say it is technically, because I don't know what it's concentration. It's up for up to 10 minutes. I would say you still don't get a ping, Raynana, of anything necessarily evil in the area. Wait a second. You know what? That's a lie. Let me roll a dice. No, you certainly don't get an indication of anything evil here. Okay, so to call the beast, we need to go to the river and catch a couple of catfish to hold up in the air like in the engraving. Maybe, Steve. Maybe. You also found a broken chest not too far away from the area. The opening up the chest, or whatever the remnants of the chest were, you see a parchment, a piece of parchment rolled up. You open up the parchment, and it is the tale that Protector Clayton told you. Once again, it's the way down deep where the willows weep, where the waters thick and the shadows crawl, a beast stirs low in the fetid deep. Best mind your step, best heed his call. The beast is his. It walks unchained, its bridle snapped, its mercy gone. It guards his home, both wild and stained. Do it harm, and you won't see dawn. And inside the chest as well is this rough stone-carved implement. It almost resembles a flute. What else are we doing here? Take the flute. All right, we got to mark down that we got the flute. Speaking of which, let's see what the next decision is here. So I'm going to put in the chat. Type in flute in chat if you want to be considered for the next decision here. Gonna try and play the flute. Okay. I will roll a d20 for your performance check. Thankfully, you have a +3 on your performance. I like that. Okay. So you aren't necessarily proficient in this instrument, but usually lute is your thing. But you place the flute up to your mouth. It's almost flute-like. There's only really more closely resembling a whistle with just one little pinch point. Nice, Steve. I was going to suggest that you play like Raina plays the recorder. Yeah. You take a deep breath in and you blow. You hear just a low, instead of a high-pitched whistle, you hear a kind of echo out. Let's roll a d20 and see what happens. It's quiet for a second. Then you hear some rustling. I hear rustling again. And then out from the edge of the ruin area, coming through the mangroves, you see three individuals, sorry. One of them seems to be kind of like a simple, two of them seems to be simple kind of farmer folk, and another one seems to be a dredger. And you can hear the dredger, the knoll, going, I lost my way. I can tell you, right, if we go around this way, we're going to be fine. Come on. Turns around. What are you doing here? Huh? Wait a second, aren't you that knight? Huh? So the dredger, the knoll dredger, has kind of seen you. The two commoners almost are standing around, and they kind of put up their pitchforks, and one of them has like a little crude hammer. And they look at you unsure. What are you doing in this situation? Stand down, I'm the law. Intimidation, buddy? I'm assuming it's intimidation. Do you want to redeem your intimidation from before? Oh yeah, here we go. Come on, let's go. Big numbers. Oh, buddy. You immediately draw your double-bladed scimitar. No, these aren't the same people powers. There was 2 dredgers before, a grung and a water genasi. The gnoll is not the gnoll we spared. You can tell. This Olivier is rather younger looking with kind of like a scar across the front of his face. Olivier, this is another dude who's another dredger. You pull your double-bladed scimitar out. Stand down, I'm the law. Both of you, all 3 of you, weapons on the ground right now. With a dirty 20, they comply. They put their weapons down. Cookie Must see, and I guess chat. What are we asking them right now? You see the gnoll put his hands up and I ain't trying to cause any problems. We just got turned around. That's all. You can see the other 2, which the other 2 are a grung and another earth genasi. They're kind of grung and genasi are very normal in this area. They're kind of like, sorry, we didn't mean to do any trouble here. You still standing around. Certainly doesn't seem that way. What do you think you're doing here? Insight. All right. We'll roll an insight. Let's go. So, +0 on the insight. Dirty. It's just an 11, not a dirty anything. You look around. And then you see in the tree line from an insight. Well, that's not really a perception, sorry. Yeah, it's an insight. You can tell the gnoll, who now has his hands up, and I'll say because of the amazing intimidation followed by the insight, you can tell something's up a little bit. The gnoll's kind of snarling his teeth down and looking away. The other 2 are kind of holding their hands up, nervously looking down. This time you're more sure on what you're gonna say. What are you doing here? Perception. Look into the roots and the shadows. Okay, we'll do that. I like that. Oh, mamma mia. Not too far off in the distance. Moor, you can see past them into the tangle of roots and the veil of the willows. It seems to be bodies laying still on the ground. Now you can't discern where they're at essentially, or what state they're in, but they're not moving. Now with Cookie Monster saying again, what are you doing here? And you noticing the dead bodies, you can see the gnoll start to sweat a bit. We got turned around, hey, see, and well, what happened was we were looking for a little bit, and you immediately pull forward your double-bladed scimitar. Can we tell if there's blood on the weapons? From the natural 20 and the perception on that, you can see there's no blood on any of their weapons, especially the one who's holding the pitchfork or the hammer. There's no blood, essentially. And the gnoll dredger has essentially nothing on him that other than muck. He's covered in muck and dirt and twigs. You can see with pointing the weapon at him, he goes, okay. I got twined around. All right. And then what happened was I lost the rest of the dredges. And then these 2 fine folk, they found me. And we're just trying to get the hell out of here. There's nothing right there. And you can see it turn around and they point over there to where the dead bodies were. Well, now you know they're dead bodies because the one of the dredgers, or the dredger looks up and goes, what happened here? We stumbled across these bodies here. Okay, I don't want to get in trouble. We did take something from it. You can see they throw a pouch. One of them throws a pouch out and it lands and coins spatter on the ground. I don't want to get in any trouble here. We just want to get the hell out. I don't feel right. So you know now that the dead body in front of them, or the dead bodies behind them, they found them. And they do feel a little guilty because they did take something from those bodies. So in chat, if you want to be considered, type in robber. So what you found out, Cookie Monster Eve, is that they essentially they robbed the corpse. They found these dead bodies. They're trying to turn around. The knoll got turned around from the dredgers, and now is looking for a way out because they don't want to stay in here. And these two people found them. They threw the coins on the ground. They're in front of you. Only seems to be about 3 or 4 gold pieces here. All right, Senhaz, Big Haz, what's going on? You tell me. So when he said he didn't feel right, did it seem like he meant he felt guilty and was affected by something? Well, with the insight check, you know, past that, I'll do another insight roll for you. Okay. Honestly, with a 16, you can see that he didn't feel right in the sense that he doesn't like the area that they're in right now. The area that they're in is very foreboding. It's very, and they know that a large beast is around here. And you probably sense from the look is also just the fact that something is killing things out here as well. So with that information, Senhaz, you can do whatever you like next. So, you know, you look up and you go, well, how long have you been wandering around? You look at the knoll. The knoll kind of looks around and, well, by the sun, it seemed like it's probably early morning. I've been out here through the whole night. I came across these two camping probably later in the day, and I shacked up with them. So it's been a little bit, at least a couple hours or so. And none of you have seen the beast. You see the one earth gymnastic step forward, their skin kind of looking like cracked mud, and they say, well, no, we did, I swear I did see something kind of run by me in the brush there with a loud thundering movement, but all I did was I ducked down as far as I could. And the other grung looks up and goes, well, what I was doing is I was gathering firewood at the time, and then I came back and they were freaking out because what they saw. So I think we're at a point here where, what do you want to do with them? You have found out that they've been sort of robbing, or they have robbed. One of them has confessed to robbing. The other two are lost. And you know that one of them has seen the beast. And now you found these dead bodies. Try and keep them together and with us while we go investigate the bodies. Okay. It doesn't take much goading, Sen. You are able to kind of bring them back, and what you see at the bodies is a sight, less to say. We do have a description of the beast powers. From what we've seen so far is that it's huge in D&D standards. It's huge. It's pretty big. It's got armored plating along its back. It's got orange. It's orange and black, and it's got a beak. That's all we know so far. So what you see at the bodies is clearly mass trauma. Either one by stomping, the other one by being bitten. There is a massive bite mark that you more would remember as the bite mark of your of what came across Louis, the farmer that you ran into. Their weapons, their implements are covered in a sort of ichor, and they're kind of a green like blood. And with a natural one, you don't see anything else past that. Yes, and by us, I mean our type. Good point, Steve. Yeah, there was a lonely folk with their arms raised up, and there's these two large catfish beside them in a boat as this beast is coming up from the water. The beast that was shown on the inscription is more like just like a little rounded mound coming out of the water, and you can see the beak clearly. So it does look like they did manage to hurt it. They did, yes, 100%. You can tell from the assessing the situation at the previous session, and now the blood is the same that is on the implements. These bodies are townsfolk, not dredgers, right? Let's do a good old investigation check. You kneel down, and the mud and the muck are kind of tough to discern the bodies of any identifiers of them being dredgers. You can tell that they are locals for sure because there's not a lot of people out here. You can tell how long these people died. With that perception check, you won't be able to tell as well. The corpses are kind of covered, unfortunately. Is the boar? The boar is actually still just kind of walking around, eating some of like the little grass and grazing a little bit here and there. Animal handling to grab the rope is still attached to the boar. I like it. I like it. Animal handling is a +0. Let's go. 14. Straight 14. You manage to kind of turn around, find where the rope is, and grab the rope and hold it tight. The boar kind of protests for a little bit, but once it realizes you're not pulling it anywhere right now, it's just grazing. With that, though, you do see a bird. A bird perch up on one of the trees, the hanging willows. It flutters down and it looks at you, hopping up and down. What you don't, for those who weren't with us last session, we called on a bird and spoke with animals, requesting the bird to come back, to track the beast and come back to us if they came up with anything. The bird is eagerly awaiting you, but we will find out next session what that bird has to tell us.